Welcome back, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back to our channel. And no, you are not dreaming. The Mets are actually on a 3-game winning streak. But first, I just want to say, whenever you're watching this, happy 4th of July. Happy birthday, Steve Cohen. Mets are 6.5 games behind the wild card and making up ground very quickly. Are they fooling us? Are they bringing us back in to rip our hearts out? Probably, but it is a little entertaining to watch. So we're going to cover the game today. The Mets defeated the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are a pretty good franchise. They got a lot of good young players. There's Corbin Carroll showed us what type of ball player he is. But the Mets were still able to come out victorious 8-5. And their youngster, Francisco Alvarez, had a great game on his own. All right. So this video, we got a lot of stuff to get to. We're going to get into, like I said, the game review, the game analysis. We're going to get into the Humpty Dumpty character, the guy who fell on Citi Field. What the heck was that all about? I need your help with that. We're going to get into Trevor Gott. We're going to get into Buck Showalter making some very strange comment. Very strange. I didn't understand it, but we'll go over that. And then at the end of the video, I've been thinking about this too. Let's talk about how many games the Mets would have to be out by the trade deadline to make them either buyers or sellers. For example, if there's 6 games out, would Steve Cohen be a buyer or a seller? We're going to talk about those number of games. Very interesting right there. So please stick around throughout the whole video. Not going to want to miss that. I need your help. Stick around. But first, if you could keep it up with the like and subscribe, cannot thank you enough. It helps the channel immensely. Really does. And I thank you so much for the great comment. I cannot thank you enough. All right. So let's get into the game today. And it was actually a very good game. We were going up against the Diamondbacks. Like I mentioned, they have a couple good young hitters. If you listen to the broadcast, they were raving about the Diamondbacks and their defense. The Diamondbacks are not only a young team with great young hitters, they're very good defensively. They actually have only 30 errors, which is the lowest amount of errors in the National League. So if we're going to play against them, we were going to actually have to tighten up our game. If you notice, we were on a 2-game winning streak, but our game was very sloppy. Alonso was making errors. We were making errors. Beatty was making errors. We weren't crisp. We have to be crisp if we're going to play better teams, especially better defensive teams. So that is what I think we did today. And I got to say, Scherzer looked okay. I would say okay to good. He struck out 9 batters, went 6 innings. He gave up 3 home runs. Other than that, he looked good. He didn't do bad. I got to really give him credit for that. It started off in the first inning a bit rough, but we got to see a very talented player. In the bottom of the first inning, Corbin Carroll came up, and he is a lefty. It seemed like he threw the bat head out there, and the ball took off to right center field. I know the ball carries in Arizona, but my God, I mean, this guy, you could see why he's a phenomenal player. That ball took off his bat, and it went over the right center field wall. I was shocked. For his 18th home run of the year, that made it 1-0 Arizona. Okay, so then after that, Max Scherzer was dealing for a couple innings, took us to the top of the 4th inning. That brings the Mets up to the plate. So the top of the 4th inning was when we scored a couple runs. It started off like this. Lindor walks. And that was very significant because if you noticed, the Mets' approach at the plate was better. They were taking pitches. They were running counts. Even Gary Cohen mentioned at that point that the Mets had run like 6 or 7, 3-ball counts already. So that's what they have to do. Make the pitcher work. Get the pitcher out of the game early. Get to the team's bullpen. They did this constantly last year. Constantly. For some reason this year they're swinging at first pitches. They're not being patient. Okay, so top of the 4th inning, Lindor walks. Then he steals a base. Very productive. Then Alonso strikes out. But if you noticed, before Alonso struck out in the inning, go back and watch this replay. Alonso hit a monster foul ball. I've never seen a foul ball like hit this far. I mean, it was a monster. And I gotta say, I don't know if you noticed this, if you want to comment down below. In the last 2 games since Alonso was selected as an All-Star, it seems like he's actually got his confidence back. You know, I was thinking maybe it was a wrist injury, but it seems like the guy, and baseball players, it happens. No matter how good you are, it will knock you right down. You are dealing with the best of the best pitchers, and you can go through massive slumps. Hall of Famers have done it. Everybody have gone through this slump. It seemed like Pete was going through a big slump. It seems like he lost his confidence. He was batting under 160 in June, and just think he was in a bad rut. But since I've noticed the last 2 games, the guy is hitting the ball hard. Started on Sunday night with a 2-run homer, but it seemed like even his foul balls, now he's got that confidence back, and now I'm excited to see him going because we need Pete. Even in the postgame on Sunday night, I saw more of a leader out there. Saturday night is when he made that horrible error at first base. He put his head down. No. Not on Sunday night. He was a leader, and that's what we're going to need. If we're going to make a comeback, and I'm not saying we're going to make a comeback, but if we're going to do something, we need Pete to be a leader. To keep his head up, you got young guys looking at him. You got everybody looking at Pete to be a leader. So even if he feels bad inside, he can't show it. Especially all the media is going to be looking on him. Okay, so Pete struck out. And then after that, Lindor, like I said, he was on second base. McNeil tapped the ball to the shortstop, and he was able to beat it out. And I'm telling you, like, McNeil can't be a 5-hitter. He is not a 5-hitter on a team that's doing anything. Okay? If you want to put him somewhere else in the lineup, he's not a 5-hitter. He's just not a 5-hitter. And it got me nervous in the beginning of the game because they mentioned how McNeil did golfing yesterday to clear his mind. And I'm like, no, don't do golfing. I don't need you popping the ball up and hitting dribblers all over the place. You know, I don't know how you feel about that, but you got to swing level. Swing level. Okay. So McNeil got a dribbler. That's how he seems to be getting his base hits. So it is 1st and 3rd, and Starling Marte comes up to the plate. And Starling is already 1 for 1. He got a base hit, I believe, in the 2nd inning, and he roped it to like center field, left center field area. He just roped it. It exploded off his bat. So I knew he was swinging a good bat today. And then he came up in the top of the 4th inning, and he hit a 3-run bomb to left center field. The ball exploded off his bat. And just a side note on Marte, they interviewed him the other day, and they said, hey, Starling, you're not doing anywhere near as good as you were doing last year. What the heck is happening? So he said that he had double hernia surgery, right? So if anybody's had hernia surgery, you know, and honestly, I've had a hernia. And ever since I've had a hernia, I haven't played ball in like 6 or 7 years because I can't pull the ball anymore. If I play, I can hit weak balls to right field. And if, I can't really hit the ball solid, I'm not going to play. So Starling had the same stiffness after his surgery. He could not pull the ball. He couldn't. And if you saw Starling last year, that's what he was known for, swinging and pulling the ball. So this year, now as the year progresses, especially in the last week or so, he is getting looser. He is recovering from his surgery, and he is feeling better. So that's why you're going to see the ball explode a bit more off his bat. Folks, he was an all-star last year. You saw how much Starling meant to the lineup. You saw when he was out against the Braves at the end of the year and in the first game against the Padres. The Mets lineup just didn't go. If you got Starling being productive, the lineup is that much more deeper. We are that much more dangerous. We need Starling Marte. He is so important to this lineup. So important, especially if Jeff McNeil is going to be golfer Jeff McNeil. Okay, so Starling made the game 3-1 at the end of the top of the 4th inning. Fast forward to the bottom of the 4th. Scherzer continues to deal. McCarthy comes up, strikes him out. Carroll, Corbin Carroll, this is where I gotta give Pete credit. Corbin Carroll ripped a ball down the right field line, and Pete Alonso made a diving stop to his left hand, and it was a great play, great defensive stop. He flips it up to Max Scherzer, 2 outs, but clap hands for Pete Alonso after making those errors. He's hitting the ball hard, and he's making his defensive plays. All right, so we have 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Christian Walker comes up, and this is where the Diamondbacks come back a bit. Walker hits a bomb to center field. That makes it 3-2. Gurriel comes up next, hits another bomb. It's 3-3, back-to-back. And Scherzer gives up a few. All right, so we fast forward to the top of the 5th inning. And Brandon Power McNeil, what am I talking about? Nimmo. And I got to say, Brandon Nimmo is reminding me of Daniel Murphy of 2015 with this power surge. I don't know about you, but where did all this power come from? And I was always looking at Brandon Nimmo. He's about 6'2", 6'3". He's got a big frame. He always should have had more power, but I think he was always going for more on base and contact. So the guy's going for a bit more power this year, and it's showing. He's already got 13 home runs. The guy could blast 25 to 30 home runs on the season. His on base is going to be close to 380. I mean, Brandon Nimmo is such a good player, and if you think this is the first year of his contract, we have him for 8 years at $20 million. This could be. I was saying Billy Epler has no good signings, but let's be fair. Tommy Pham looks to be a great signing. Brandon Nimmo looks to be a great signing. So I've been killing Billy Epler, but I'll give him credit for those 2 guys right there. If anybody else thinks of good signings of Billy Epler, drop it in the comments below. Those are the only 2 I can think of. Okay, so that makes it 4-3 after the Brandon Nimmo bomb. And we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and this is where Scherzer gets into a bit of trouble. So we start off the inning. Kelly pops the ball out. Ahmad, he strikes out. So we have 2 outs, and Thomas comes up to the plate. He hits the ball to the right side of the infield. McNeil moves to his left side, gets a glove on it, can't make the play. Thomas is safe at first. They call the play a hit, and I say that's 100% an error on McNeil. 100%. He got his glove on it. He should have been able to make the play, but they gave him they reviewed it, and they basically said it's a hit. It's in Arizona, so they gave him a bit of an advantage there. So Thomas then stole second base. Perdomo walks, so it's first and second. McCarthy hits the ball. Lindor made a diving stop, so he prevented a run from scoring. Bases loaded. Corbin Carroll's up. All right, so it's 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th inning. It is 4-3, and Corbin Carroll is up. So this is where I think was a very kind of controversial point in the game. Honestly, Scherzer already gave up 3 home runs. Already gave up a home run to Corbin Carroll. Corbin has been roping the ball off Scherzer the whole game. He would have been 2 for 2 if Pete Alonso didn't make a diving stop. At that point in the game with bases loaded and Corbin Carroll coming up to the plate, and you comment on this as well, I would have yanked Scherzer. I really would have. I know what Buck was trying to do, get him in line for the win, but a lot of damage could have been done here. Luckily, Carroll walked and made it 4-4. The next batter, Christian Walker, came up and struck out, so it was limited damage, and we went into the 6th inning 4-4. All right, so we fast forward to the top of the 7th inning, and this is when Francisco Alvarez hit a bomb. He hit it about 460-something feet. 460-something feet. That's a massive home run. That's probably one of the deepest home runs we hit. Actually, you know what? That is, I believe, the deepest home run. I believe I saw the other day, I think Pete Alonso had the deepest home run on the Mets this year. It was like over 430 feet. But this was clear over 460. So Francisco Alvarez just hit the deepest home run of the year for the Mets. So that is crazy. That made it 6-4. Fast forward to the top of the 8th. DJ Stewart came up, had a sack fly. Now it's 7-4. And then top of the 9th, Francisco Lindor doubled, so he tacked on another run. Beatty scored as well. And the bottom of the 9th was a little kind of touchy. Drew Smith started, gave up a hit and walked a guy. Robertson came in, he walked a guy as well. But we were able to scratch this one out, and we won 8-5. Most important thing, we are on a 3-game win streak, and I don't know if it's for real. I've been tricked a couple times so far, so I'm going to say no, it's not for real. I need the Mets to go on a sustained win streak. I'm not going to fall for these small win streaks or small victories here and there. No, I'm not going to get fooled now. Okay, so let's go on to the next topic, and I want to see if you caught this comment. On Sunday night, they asked Buck about McNeil, and Buck basically talked about McNeil's performance, and then he said, we got some people trying to stick together. And I was very puzzled when I heard him say that, because I think of a fractured team when I hear the manager saying, we have some people trying to stick together. Like, what does he mean? We have some people trying to stick together. So the next day when we were actually acquired, we actually became, you got to admit, we were buying when we got Trevor Gott. So I consider ourselves buyers, and I also directly correlate that to that quote where Buck kind of insinuating that half the team was quitting, and Billy Epler the next day is like, no, we're not quitting. We're going to acquire more bullpen help. So I wasn't surprised by the Gott trade, and I'm actually pretty happy with the Gott trade, because Gott, now we don't got to see guys like Brigham blow the game. We don't got to see guys like Walker blow the game. And Trevor Gott is a decent arm. He really is. He's got like pretty decent stuff. And the thing that impresses me most about this guy is he misses the damn barrel of the bat. He's in the 94th percentile in barrel percentage. He only hits 3.4% of the barrels. So that tells me that the guy has pretty decent movement. He has pretty decent stuff. He has, just so you know what type of stuff he has a 93 mile per hour fastball, an 89 mile per hour cutter, an 81 mile per hour curve, and an 86 mile per hour changeup. So he's got pretty decent stuff. With a 93 mile per hour fastball, you could survive. His expected batting average, if you look at Baseball Savant, is very good. So that means that expected batting average against is a very low. So they expect batters to have approximately a 222 batting average against him, which is pretty good. His base on ball, he doesn't walk many guys, and he misses the barrels. His expected slugging against is in the high percentile as well, in the 83rd percentile. So they don't slug well against him either. So I would say that this is a pretty good pickup right now. He'll slot kind of where Drew Smith is in the rotation, maybe 6th, 7th inning right there. Right behind Ottavino, right behind Raley, obviously behind Robertson, but he's just more depth, which I gotta applaud Epler with, because we gave nothing for him. He's a lottery ticket. So if you give nothing for somebody who potentially could provide value back, great job. That's what the Yankees used to do years ago. You take advantage of our wallet, and, they swallowed money from Chris Flexen, who we just dropped like garbage, and we didn't really need him. It is what it is. Okay, so let's get to our last part of the video. And like I said, I've been giving a lot of thought about this. How many games do we have to be behind the wild card for us to be sellers? How many games do we have to be back for us to be buyers? Okay, so obviously we know we were 8.5 games back at the Steve Cohen press conference, and Steve Cohen said, if we're 8.5 games back, we are going to be sellers. We're not going to be buyers. So we know 8.5, we're definitely sellers. Okay, so here's my prediction. We would have to cut the lead in half from 8.5 to around 4.5, 5. I would say if it's 4 games, 4 to 5 games, we will be buyers. 4 games definitely. 5 to 6 games, we're on the fence. But if we're 4 games or less, so that means we cut the deficit in half, we will be buyers. 5 games, most likely, but 6 or above, we're kind of going to be leaning towards the sellers, because gaining 2 games since the Steve Cohen press conference is not going to fly. Right now, we currently stand 6.5 games behind the next wild card team, the last wild card position, and that's fine. It's only July 4th. We have a couple weeks to make up ground. What do you think? How many games back would you consider us buyers? How many games back do you think we would be sellers? You could give a range. But I would say 4 games, we're buyers. If we're anywhere from 6.5 to 8.5 where we were, or 6.5 plus, we are going to be sellers. Bottom line, 2024. And I'm going to continue to do a constructive poll on our channel. And I'll just keep asking the same question I do all the time. Would you want us to sell, or would you want us to buy before the trade deadline? I'm interested to see how our record changes and how our players are playing in July, how the fans react, how our channel reacts. But we are undefeated in July. We're undefeated. So, I know it's a short sample. June was horrible. Why not July be ridiculously hot? You never know. This is baseball. Crazy things happen. We have a $360 million payroll. We got some of the best resources in Major League Baseball. We had bad luck. We had a lot of guys who just lost their confidence. We had guys who just got old in certain situations. But let's see what happens. So, as always, I'm going to leave you off. Again, if you could like our video, subscribe. We're going to be covering this situation almost every single day. So stick with us. I'm going to say what we always say. It can't get any worse, but it probably will. Not these last 3 games. All right, well, thank you so much. If you've stuck with me this far, you got to like and subscribe. Again, let's go Mets. Have a great day. Happy 4th. And happy birthday, Steve Cohen. Go get Shohei Ohtani.